What I'll also tell you is that Agent Mulder has developed a consuming devotion to an unassigned project outside the Bureau mainstream. Are you familiar with the so-called X-Files?
Welcome everybody to the Dark Talk Files, episode 20, Darkness Falls. I am your host Dan, and I'm joined by my FBI bro Paul. How are you doing, Paul?
Not too bad, thank you, Dan. How are you?
Very good, very good. Looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I'm going to come out and say it right now. This is my favourite episode so far. It's the best episode of the season.
I'm going to come out and say this now. Why? I don't...
It's fucking awesome.
I don't get it. It's got a really high rating on IMDb, and it's got user comments saying this is the best episode. I don't get why. Maybe it was I watched it in the daytime on the sofa. I don't really. I wasn't comfortable. Maybe that was it. I don't know. Maybe I didn't get the atmosphere from it. But maybe.
Wow.
You will sway me like you did last time, and
maybe
I will learn to love it a bit more.
I thought you'd love this one.
We'll get to why. We'll get to why. Yeah.
Well, we'll get started then. So we have a cold open at the Olympic National Forest in Washington State, and a load of wet, angry lumberjacks are arguing about something. And they all decide to split up and run away from some unseen malevolent force, and it's just 30 lumberjacks running around in different directions in the woods.
Yeah. It's funny because when I started watching it, I was I actually said out loud, I was they're all very wet.
that is one wet ass forest.
Yeah.
So some lumberjacks are successful, but the two main guys are caught by a swirling plague of glowing green bugs which consume them. We'll actually find out later on in the episode that none of the lumberjacks were successful in escaping. They've all disappeared. So in DC, Mulder and Scully have been assigned this case. Yeah, all 30 loggers disappeared, so the bugs did get them all. Mulder mentions that there are two eco-terrorists who have been operating in the area, Spinney and a guy named Teague, who are the main suspects. And surprise, surprise, Mulder has requested this case because guess what happened in the 1930s? The exact same thing that's happening now in the 1990s. Mulder often, whenever he sees a case, he's like, oh, this exact same thing happened in the 30s. It's definitely an X-File.
Hell yeah. I mean, it's more nature filed in this episode, really.
Country file. So they arrive at this national forest, and we get two new costumes for Mulder and Scully. So we've got Mulder. I've dubbed this one the outdoor hiking geography trip teacher. Is for Mulder what he's wearing.
Yeah.
And Scully is dressed like she's going skiing in the 1980s. That neon purple pastel jacket she's got on.
It's fucking awful, but great at the same time.
So it got me thinking about. So we've been sort of cataloguing whenever Mulder wears anything different other than a suit. But I thought about some of Scully's outfits that she's had. Some of the ones that have stood out to us in the past, this season. So the best one that she's had has been that time that she wore nothing but a towel.
Of course.
We had that time that she wore that red power suit in Jersey Devil for the final chase. Do you remember? What the hell was that she had on?
Yeah, that's great.
I think in the same episode she had a plaid blazer on.
Was that when she went on a date?
Yeah.
Was that,
that's the other one. The one that she had a date, she had that wedding dress ball gown thing that she had on for a first date. Instead of a hoodie, jeans and Converse, she's dressed up like Princess Diana. But yeah, I'm going to keep track of Scully's outfits on this one now.
Yeah, do it.
So they meet this forest ranger dude called Larry, who is a tall, dark, handsome stranger. I looked up this actor. So this actor is also in X-Files Fight the Future, the movie. And guess what other role he plays? A notable role from our childhood that he plays. Well, I say from our childhood. We won't have seen this film, but I don't think so.
So we're talking about the park ranger guy, yeah.
Yeah.
I looked him up as well because he looked very familiar, but I immediately forgot anything I saw that he was in. So I don't know. Give it to me.
So he plays Peter McAllister in Home Alone 4.
Oh, I've never seen Home Alone 4.
No, but it's still Peter McAllister was a big part of our childhood. He's in the greatest Christmas, well, two of the greatest Christmas films of all time.
Yeah, the character, but not the same actor. You know, that's not my Peter McAllister, man.
I just thought that was an interesting tidbit.
Yeah, it's reasonably interesting. Yeah.
I'm gonna butt in on your territory, on your turf here as well, but I've got a bit of trivia about this actor as well.
All right, go for it. Go.
He went to school with David Duchovny and is partially responsible for convincing David Duchovny to become an actor.
Wow, that is very interesting trivia, Dan. Now that you say it, I remember seeing that he was in Californication with David Duchovny as well, and I was like,
oh, was he? Right,
like, yeah,
okay.
They've got to be some kind of buddies, you know, probably, maybe. But that makes sense if they are actually buddies. That's cool. Good actor as well.
So they meet this other dude, Humphreys, who is head of security for the lumber company, and I was just thinking these guys may as well have all been wearing red shirts because fucking how often do Mulder and Scully, put a team together unless they're just going to be fodder for the monster.
Yeah, but also another great moustache, another character with a great moustache.
Yeah, but I just kind of don't like this dude because he's a capitalist pig, and he wants to chop down the forest, so fuck him.
Yeah, you're right.
So the jeep transporting them to the logging area is sabotaged when they run over a caltrop which blows out both back tyres, forcing them to hike up to the area in the rain. So they eventually reach the abandoned logging camp, and I just love how this place looks. Oh, I love an abandoned base where the main characters come to and they're like, something happened here, and then they become the victims of the monster. Yeah, give me that all day.
Yeah, I definitely like the cabin in the woods kind of thing. Not the film, like what it was. I do love that aesthetic as well. Anything in the forest is great for me as well. So
I like the bit as well where Mulder finds this huge bag of weed as well, and he's like, well, they must have left in a hurry if they left this behind.
Did that happen? I don't remember seeing that.
Yeah, it's like left on top of the fridge or something.
Fucking hell, I don't remember that at all. I was playing with the cat at one point. She was biting the shit out of me, so I had to distract her with a laser gun.
So when they explore the forest for clues, they find this hive/cocoon up in the trees, which looks like it's made of like weird candy floss web cocoon thing. So they hoist Scully up on this rope, like on this pulley system. Like they just like so she can cut down whatever it is, and it's like they're a bunch of sailors or pirates. They're like yo ho ho and a bottle of yeah. So they cut it open and they find this corpse inside, and this corpse has had its body drained of all of its fluid. It looks grey. It looks gross. Yeah, quite good effects on that bit.
Yeah,
I'm glad they spent the money on the effects for this because the effects for the rest of the episode are great.
Yeah. Well, when she initially climbs up and she sees the fingers poking out, I thought they were mushrooms growing out at first. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, oh, they've got nails, their fingers, yeah. My dagger eyesight again. So
back at the camp, something spooks Humphreys, and he discovers one of the logging saboteurs from earlier, Spinney, is hiding at their camp, played by Titus Welliver, Bosch.
Yeah.
He's got the... Look at that, he was handsome when he was younger.
He's a handsome dude, yeah. So... when he appeared on screen, I was like, fucking hell, I know this guy's face. And, I mean, with X-Files, we're very used to seeing actors in early roles, bit parts in the X-Files, aren't we? Before they become well-known faces and whatnot. And I was like, holy fuck, that's James Nesbitt. And I was like, wait a minute. Is it James Nesbitt? And then I had to Google James Nesbitt and Titus Welliver, and I was like, these dudes are the exact same fucking person. Do you know what I mean?
Do you remember Titus Welliver when he was in Sons of Anarchy?
Yes, I thought that was James Nesbitt as well. Because I was like, yes, James Nesbitt. Of course it is.
Both got dodgy Irish accents.
Yeah, but like they've got the exact same fucking face. It's insane. So this got me thinking about doppelgangers, and maybe wonder, Dan, if you've ever seen your doppelganger, because I have seen mine.
No, but I would like to. But then also seeing your doppelganger is meant to be like a sign of your impending death, so I also wouldn't like to see a doppelganger.
Well, I'm still alive, and I saw what looked just like me, but slightly older. So I was in Morrison's, right, and I felt something. I turned around and I looked, and 30 to 40 feet away from me, there was a person staring straight at me, right, and it looked just like me. However, his hair was slightly different, and he was wearing a navy zip-up Harrington jacket. And we both stared at each other for about 30 seconds before I got distracted and had to leave. And I was just staring like that, and I was just like, what the fuck? How is that me standing over there? And a couple of years later, I ended up, and it wasn't because of this, because I kind of forgot about it, but I ended up having the same hairstyle. And I remember I was on Reddit. I was on Reddit, and came across like a doppelganger fucking story, and I just typed that in, and I got a few replies saying you probably met yourself from the future and stuff like this, and it's like I was like, maybe I did. But yeah, there's my little doppelganger story.
I sometimes get photos of people I know saying, oh, look, I found someone that looks like you working in a bar or waiting for the bus or something like that. One of which happened last week. My uncle was up in Edinburgh and he sent me a picture of this barman. It does look pretty much like me, to be honest. But maybe he doesn't look exactly like me because I've got long hair and a beard, so I think that's...
Yeah.
A lot of people have long hair and a beard, so... But this guy did look like me, so... Yeah.
But also, last year it was, or someone, about 3 people said, we saw you today walking right near where I work, and they were like, we shouted to you and you ignored us and this kind of stuff, and then we realised it wasn't you. And I was like, they were like, they had the tattoos, same hair, same beard and all that kind of stuff, and I was just like, nope, definitely not me. And I have yet to see that person again. Actually, and very near the same place, I saw someone who was the exact replica of my missus right near where we live, and I've never seen her again. But I know it wasn't my missus because she was in a different place at the time. Oh man, it's freaky. Anything to do with doppelgangers and clones and all that just always gets me. But just before we move on from these two looking alike, I think these two, James Nesbitt and Titus Welliver, right, they are at the very tippy top of actors who look alike. They beat Arnold Vosloo and Billy Zane for me because they look that much alike.
What about, do they look more alike than Javier Bardem and Jeffrey Dean Morgan?
They do for me. Only think? Just, but they do. Like they're likeness, like their like this is just sorry, I'm not having a stroke. I just couldn't get my words out. Their likeness is unbelievable, and yet here we are.
Anyway, back to the episode. So Spinney explains that the loggers were attacked by these bugs, and he himself has lost one of his own hunt saboteurs to them. The bugs mostly come out at night, and they need to cocoon and devour whatever they can find. Spinney warns them that they need to stay in the light, and the bugs, for some reason, can only operate in the dark. So basically, as long as they stay in the light, the bugs can't get them. They're safe.
Yeah, like the monsters from that film with that man.
Ah, yeah, that one. Yeah.
You know what I mean.
I don't actually.
You know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that guy. So Mulder, Scully and the gang discover a massive tree which has been chopped down by the logging company, and they check the rings inside the tree, which shows how much growth the tree had in each year, and that's how you can calculate the weather hundreds of thousands of years ago. But they do see that there is some sort of anomaly where the tree didn't grow, and they think that's when a volcano went off and the bugs landed inside the tree and have been living inside it dormant for thousands and thousands of years until the tree was felled by the loggers, and now the bugs have escaped and are rampaging around the forest. Yeah.
And that's it.
That's pretty much what the monster is this week. Bugs. Flying, green, glowing bugs. Fireflies.
Yeah, essentially.
So Humphreys, because he's capitalist scum, is openly hostile to Spinney, and he wants him arrested for sabotage. So he decides to hike back to the Jeep to radio for Pete, because Mulder and the other guy are like, we're not arresting him. And Humphreys is like, well, I'll find someone that will. Stomps off back to the Jeep. But because he's an idiot, he's forgotten his keys. So he's there trying to hotwire this Jeep. And then he goes in the afternoon. So basically, he's trying to hotwire the Jeep. It's just basically a plot device just for him to spend more time at the Jeep fiddling with it so that it gets dark outside so the bugs can come and get him.
Yeah.
So he looks up and he sees the green bugs descending on him, and they just instantly devour him inside the Jeep, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, I liked it.
Sorry, mostly because of his acting. I don't think the bugs look very good.
See, I wasn't that fussed. I don't think the bugs look that bad. I mean, they don't look great now, but for green, bright green, luminescent, tiny bugs, how much better could they do? Like, I don't think they could have done that much better. Like,
well, yeah, I suppose.
I was fine with it, but I like his acting was pretty good as well. And it just made me think about him acting without the digital effects being there. It must have been like, and we'll see it again later on, but it must have been fucking dead funny to watch.
Trying to bat off these imaginary bugs. So back at camp, Scully is wondering why these insects don't like lights, because normal insects usually do chase light, moth to a flame. And as she's giving this theory, you can see Mulder, like, he's wandering around the room and he's like gearing up to give this big volcano bug theory. He's like, and wouldn't you say, Scully, that da-da-da-da-da? And she's like, yes. And he's like, oh, so that would lead you to believe that such as da-da-da-da. And she's like, yes, Mulder, I would agree. And he's like, well, there you go, it's volcano bugs. And he's like a teacher, like, strutting around the room giving a presentation. He's like, he's asking her, like, leading questions which support his hypothesis.
It's like a courtroom and he's the lawyer and he's like walking around waiting for her to trick herself into admitting that this must be it.
Yeah, I love this. I thought it was great. Yeah. So the next morning, Spinney tries to do a runner and go save his remaining pals who are camped out alone in the woods, but he's stopped by Mulder, who holds him at gunpoint. But Spinney manages to talk Mulder round, and Mulder lets him go. This pisses off Larry, who is very annoyed that not only did Mulder let the number one suspect just leave, but he also took most of the kerosene for the generator. It's like, yeah, just take it, off you go. Which means they'll be sitting ducks when the lights go out.
Very uncharacteristic of Mulder. He's always very empathetic towards people, so that holds up for his character, but just letting a suspect go with the rest of the gas is like, it's a bit uncharacteristic of it.
Well, I think it's more to do with what you've said in the past, that Mulder's got this sort of sixth sense, like he knows what's going to happen. Like he can think 3-4 moves ahead without knowing
that's
it.
True, that's true.
So his instinct is telling him, let him go, because if he goes, we've got somebody out there that could possibly come back and help us, which does happen later on. Yeah, that's how I took it. So Mulder, Scully, and Larry decide they have to hunker down and seal up the cabin to stop these bugs getting in, but it just doesn't work. The bugs easily get in, but because there's light in the cabin, they aren't able to swarm. Because Scully notices that she's got some bugs on it, and she is not happy.
Shit.
She's like, "Oh my God, Mulder, get him off me!" She very uncharacteristically loses her cool.
She does. Her head goes on this one.
Which you don't see very often. The only time I can think this has happened before was in the pilot when she thought she had that implant or scar. Do you remember? And she goes to run into Mulder for help.
Yeah. Towel Scully,
baby. Yeah, so the generator fails, runs out of kerosene just as the sun rises, meaning that they've made it through the night. So they wisely decide to make a break for it down the mountain back to their own truck, and they rob a tyre off one of the loggers' trucks.
They
get back to the...
rolling it down the hill and chasing after it.
It's like that cheese throwing or whatever it is they do in Devon. Yeah, so they get back to their own Jeep, but they find the gross corpse of Humphreys cocooned in the Jeep. It's like something off The Mist.
Yeah,
you know that? Yeah. You know, where they see all like the dead soldiers in the mist, like who've been like webbed up by the spiders.
I love a bit of body horror and this kind of stuff, like infestation and that. It's fucking, it's creepy. Great. Awesome.
Yeah, so they can't use this Jeep. It's like inoperable because it's full of like webs and bugs and dead body. But Mulder's foresight proved to be correct when Spinney does return driving his own Jeep, saying that his own guys are all dead, so he's like came back to save the group. Yeah. They all get in the Jeep and they all haul ass out of it, but the Jeep runs over some more caltrops, which Spinney himself probably placed there. He gets out and looks at him, and he's like, "Oh, for God's sake!" So Spinney becomes the next victim of the bugs when he goes outside and he's holding his own caltrop, and the bugs descend on the group. So this is the bit, isn't it? So Titus Welliver is like fighting off all these imaginary bugs and like runs off into the forest. I think he is almost certainly doomed by this point.
Completely. It's like he's running from a swarm of bees. Just like, fucking hell.
Nicolas Cage in The Wicker Man. The main crew, Mulder, Scully and Larry, are still inside the Jeep, but that's no defence, as we saw from what happened with Humphreys. The bugs basically envelope the Jeep and everyone inside of it, and that is that. They are covered in webs and left to die. Yeah. Another great fine bit of acting where the three of them are just all sitting in the car, just like, wafting their faces and doing all this. Like, I just pictured myself being on the crew and just laughing my ass off, just that them, the three of them just, right, and go. And then they just all start fucking going mental. I don't know, just made me giggle. I bet they did have a laugh filming this. I would have loved to see some B-roll of this, if it ever exists out there. Yeah, that'd be great. But yeah, the group are saved when this battalion of white vans and guys in hazmat suits arrive to free them from the cocoons, and they take them to a medical facility. Because earlier on, Mulder had called for help, SOS, but they weren't sure if anybody heard it, but obviously it was heard. The feds have turned, I was going to say like the CDC, they've all turned up. And then it cuts into like one of those FEMA tents where Mulder, Scully, and Larry were all being treated for their injuries. They were very lucky to escape with their lives. That lead hazmat dude is like, yeah, we're gonna burn the forest and drench it in pesticides to get rid of those bugs.
And Mulder's like,
yeah,
what if it doesn't work? And he's like, oh, I was going to quote him, but I fucking can't remember what he said. He's something like, there is no...
He says something like that is not an option.
Yeah,
that is not an option, Agent Mulder. Something like that. The episode ends there. It's an odd ending. The heroes don't save themselves or save the day. They literally just get saved by the very government they're trying to bring down. How ironic.
Yeah. Scully was like on her deathbed. She was like very close to dying. And she doesn't even wake up. She's still completely flat out in the bed. We don't even see the other guy, and they're both covered in rashes and like cuts and shit, and very strange ending.
Yeah, I think they probably had to keep Scully passed out so she couldn't like try and rationalise what happened. Well, Mulder, it was probably a mountain lion flying a Libyan fighter jet that did all this damage.
Fuck yeah.
That fucking mountain lion flying that jet, he's committed so many crimes. Yeah, so what do you think of this one?
It was alright. I don't know why it's like so beloved and that. It seemed like a bit like there wasn't that much of a story really. It was like they figure out that it's these ancient bugs. They get nearly killed by them, and that's the end. But they don't. So there was a bit of plot armor for them. Obviously, they're not gonna reap their demise because of it, and it doesn't really explain it that much. I don't know. It was like I really love the setting. I loved the bit when they're in the house and they're starting to board the house up because they're ready for the attack, essentially.
Yeah.
But what I would have preferred was if they'd have got to there earlier, realised what was going to happen earlier, and basically armoured the shit up for these things to attack them. And the main part of the story was them doing that. You know, like I'm going to say it again, we've done it a fucking million times. Resident Evil 4, you know, when you're in that house with the dude, what's his name?
Lewis. Yeah, when you're in the house with Lewis, yeah.
Yeah, and you start barricading the doors and stuff like that, and the tension that builds up because you know that they're all about to break in. I wish like that had been the climax where they'd have spent like the latter half of the episode with that building up to like this big invasion of these fucking things that are going to come in and actually possibly take them out. But fell a bit flat, the ending for me, I've got to be honest.
Yeah, I'll give it there's a flat ending. There's no ingenuity from Mulder or Scully that saves the day. They literally get saved by a Deus Ex. For me though, I just love the setting. I love stuff in the woods. I love like the team going together. It's got all the tropes that I love.
Yeah.
And I guess the ending and the fact there's no funny, quirky Mulder Scully character moments.
Yeah.
You could have made a film of this with other people that aren't Mulder and Scully. That does hurt it, but it's still up there with Conduit for me.
Oh,
and I just love. No. I love this episode.
It felt a bit like Ice, but in the forest, and not as threatening, not as eccentric, and not as fun. Don't know, like I didn't hate it at all. It was probably about 6 out of 10 for me. I didn't think it was that good, but I didn't dislike it. Nowhere near as good as
this is just head and shoulders over stuff like Space and Ghost in the Machine and Shadows and things like that. I'd watch this.
It's better than Space. I didn't think it was good as Ghost in the Machine or Shadows. I don't think. I think this is probably my third to last favourite, I'd say, so far.
Right. Have you got any trivia for us this week?
Yes, sweetie, I do. Okay. Hit the music. Jason Beghe? You know Blair from Metal, like the Bleghe. That's how I read it every time. Jason, do you know how to say it? Because I feel a bit embarrassed that I don't know how to pronounce it.
Is it Beghe? I would imagine.
Beghe. I shouldn't ask you, Kia Delia. You know. Jason Beghe is one of David Duchovny's best friends. They study together and work together as bartenders and as actors. That's lovely. And you already mentioned it earlier on. This was intended to be a bottle episode based in a single location to save money, but bad weather plagued production. It was one of the toughest episodes of the season for the crew. The weather delayed production so much that pickup shots and inserts had to be filmed later on finish. So yeah, I actually noticed there's an exact shot from the last episode in this. The shot that I mentioned at the end of our episode where the camera pans over the forest with the smog, the fucking mist or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it was flipped so that the trees were facing like the right instead of left. Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if there were a few more as well. Delays were also caused by the inaccessibility of the location because only generators, camera equipment, and first aid crew were able to stay on site, and time was wasted commuting staff each day. So it sounds like it was a bit of a ball ache, to be honest. During this episode, Gillian Anderson was often sick due to her pregnancy. Don't get pregnant. The episode received the 1994 Environmental Media Award, EMA, for Best Environmental TV Episode.
Yeah, it's got a message, isn't it? It's very preachy about the environment.
Yeah, I mean,
how evil logging companies are.
Yeah, I mean, we should be very careful with the environment because, you know, it's kind of what keeps us alive. There's a good message there, really, isn't there? Jason Beghe and David Duchovny would go on to co-star alongside each other in several episodes of Californication 2007. This is the first of 3 times that Jason Beghe and Titus Welliver worked together. The others are Finders Keepers and Ghosts, 2007 and 2018. The helicopter scene during the rescue at the end is a Hughes 500C model 369. The latest model is known as the MD53OF. 21 people found that helpful and 36 people thumbs down that, that bit of information.
Oh, God, what was that episode where you were relaying the information about somebody's watch? Do you remember all the technical specifications?
It's just not needed sometimes, is it? And that is the trivia of that week.
Thank you for that trivia. Have you got a spooky story for us?
All right. Yes, I do now. This is a creepy story from a national park / forest. This is from Reddit. Please forgive me. I haven't read it beforehand because, as I said before, I like to be surprised by the story as I read it. And if it's anything like the last one, then I will give everybody £5. This happened 5 days ago with me and my cousin, and it's a pretty long story. I live in South Carolina, and I live in a pretty nice house right in front of a tree line. It was a Friday, March 21st, and me and my cousin slept in the living room that night after planning out a camping trip for one day in the same forest that was in the front of my house. I was the first to wake up at around 9:30 a.m. and woke my cousin up. From there, we packed up full of supplies for the day. We hiked into the woods, and the area we were in was extremely dense from a storm that had passed through 6 months ago. There were trenches 5 feet wide and 5 feet down everywhere, and you couldn't even run because there were so many downed trees everywhere. We found a campsite eventually and decided to set up there, and over the span of the next 2 hours we built a survival shelter complete with a roof and all. But we kept hearing these noises out maybe 50 feet away. It sounded like an axe going to a tree, and once in a while it would be water splashing around. We were getting paranoid, but we've been in these woods a million times and wrote it off since we're near a creek. And here is the scary part. I was adding the final touches to the roof of our shelter, and my cousin was adding the touches to the walls and whatnot. All of a sudden, I hear a human sound, like they were calling a dog over to them. I immediately looked up, but I was calm. I knew that was probably a human, so I entered full protective mode over my cousin. He's a bit of a young one. I had him watch where the noises came from as I packed up our stuff. I let him lead the way out of the woods since he knew the way, and I didn't want the human, in inverted commas, behind us to get him first. Right as we were walking from our site, I looked one last time where the noises came from, and to my horror I see a masked man maybe 20 feet away who looked like he was white in colour. He had on all black, and believe me, I was terrified, but I didn't say anything because I didn't want to scare myself or my cousin. I just told him to hurry. 30 minutes later, we were maybe 100 feet from the tree line, and I could barely see my house from there. In the corner of my eye, I see the same masked man running from tree to tree as if he were following us. He didn't say anything once again. I didn't say anything once again because I thought I was hallucinating and I didn't want to work the two of us up. Once we finally broke the tree line, me and my cousin sprinted to my home and slammed the door shut behind us. That's when he told me he had seen the exact same man running from tree to tree. I will never go in those woods alone ever again, especially not in the area where the story happened. I promise it's true, and I teared up talking about it on here. I truly believe if I didn't hear that sound, we might be missing, or worse, we were 20 feet away from what was most likely death.
Yeah, I believe that one.
You believe it, yeah.
There's all kinds of weirdos out in the woods. Whether or not it was somebody just messing around or an actual somebody that was going to do them harm, who knows?
Yeah. Well, I chose the story because it was set in a forest. We've done parasite type stuff with ice as well, so I thought this story might be the theme of this story might be a bit more suited to this episode. So yeah, I would say that not a great story really.
Well, no, it was simple and down to earth, and it's one I can buy. Yeah, so
you do believe?
I believe.
I think it's the first time you've believed.
Yeah, maybe the first time I've believed absolutely. Well, no, maybe I don't believe absolutely, because I think it happened, but then I don't think that the person running around in a mask in the woods was going to do him any harm. Like, I think if it was somebody that was out to kill him, they'd try and look as normal as possible so they could get the jump on him. So your life isn't like a horror movie where there's killers running around in masks in the woods. So that is it for this episode. We'll be back in 10 days' time for Tombs.
Oh, yay. A sequel to Squeeze.
Yeah, he's back.
He's back, baby.
Trying to think if I remember much of Tombs, because all my memories of it might just be from Squeeze. So
see,
I do remember the fate of Tombs though.
I don't remember. I've definitely seen it, but I don't really remember it. But when we covered Squeeze and I watched it again, I thought more happened in the episode to do with him squeezing around and all that. But maybe I've mixed the two together in my head. So when I do watch it, as I say, I don't remember any of it right now. But as I do watch it, it'll probably start coming clear to me, and I'll probably realise that I did mix the two episodes together like some sort of jackass.
Yeah.
But we'll find out. We'll find out.
We will find out next episode. So see you then. Goodbye and good night.
Goodbye. No star.